Every year during the holidays, Andreas's patient gives him a huge box of cranberries fresh from their bog. Well, I get creative and make a lot of classic recipes. Well, last year I made a cocktail one and everybody went crazy for it. I take my classic margarita mixture and infuse it with homemade cranberry juice. These are Merry Margaritas and they are great to celebrate with this year. Hey guys, I'm Shereen with Cook This. First to get started, so we need to make our cranberry syrup. So you want to start in a small pot. We're going to add some cold water and sugar. Bring it to a boil. Then we'll reduce it to medium and add the cranberries. All right, so our simple syrup is ready. So basically, simple syrup, water, sugar. So we brought it to a boil. Now I'm going to add the cranberries. So I'm going to add all of the cranberries. And in about 20 seconds, we're going to remove 15 of them. And the reason why we're just sort of flashing them in there is we want them to get a little tacky. We're going to remove them to a wax paper plate. They're going to be the garnish. And I'll show you how we make this cocktail really festive. Here's the key. You don't want our garnish to burst. So grab them before they start bursting. We're going to pull them, set them aside, and place them into the refrigerator. So we want them to chill and get nice and cold before we coat them in sugar. And now we're just going to continue cooking the rest of the cranberries until they burst. So now we want them to burst for about 5-6 minutes. Just going to strain them over a fine mesh strainer. And that's our homemade cranberry juice. So now this recipe is actually 2-in-1. You're welcome. So you can serve this as your signature cocktail during the holidays and serve a cheese plate because we're going to have a nice little cranberry jam and it pairs awesome on crackers with a sharp cheddar cheese. So delicious. All right, so just strain this through and then I'm going to reserve that cranberry jam. And then we have our cranberry juice for our cocktails. So now for the cranberry jam. It's much more tart than our cranberry juice, so I'm going to heighten it and sweeten it a little bit more with some additional sugar. Stir it, add this to the refrigerator, add this to the refrigerator. We want it to get nice and cold. We're going to chill it and then prepare our garnishes. So now it's time to make the garnishes. Our cranberries are nice and chilled. So I went out to my garden and clipped some fresh rosemary. It smells awesome. So here's what you want to do. Rinse it under cold water. So take the sprigs, rinse it under cold water and then just shake off the excess. And now, so you just want to add about a tablespoon of sugar onto a plate. And then we're going to dip our rosemary into the plate. So it looks like little ice crystals. So cool. This is part of our garnish. So I'm going to work on all the rosemary sprigs. And then we're going to get our cranberries onto the skewers and do the same thing. Dip it in the sugar. It's really going to make for a really festive cocktail. Your guests will be so impressed. So these are really tart, but you can't cook them any further because then they become mush. Now it's time to make our cocktail. So I already went ahead and freshly squeezed some lime juice. And then to that we have silver tequila. So make it a good tequila. So we want 1 cup. And now Cointreau. About 2/3 cup. And now for our homemade cranberry juice. Let me get this out of the way. Now we just need to give it a stir. Now you could make this up to 1 day ahead. Just cover it and keep it in the refrigerator. Have all of your garnishes ready to go. Just keep them chilled. Line up your glasses, set out the ice bucket, and let everyone help themselves. So this is how they look so beautiful. So you could just take the garnishes, decorate everybody's glass, and that way they're all lined up, ready to go. Just gonna put the ice in it. Take your skewer right on top. And now here's the best part. So take the rosemary sprig and you want to just put it in halfway so that way it infuses that delicious rosemary flavor in with the margarita. But every time you sip the cocktail, you get that sort of wafting smell from the rosemary. Love it. My husband Andreas loves, that's the best part of it. And look how beautiful. Come on. This is festive. This is beautiful. This is great during the holiday season. And don't forget our 2-for-1, our cranberry jam. Look how pretty that is. You get 2-for-1. How about that? For this recipe, go to the newspaper's website and visit me on Facebook and Twitter for more culinary tips. I'm Shereen with Cook This. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week. Cheers.